Hi, I'm Koller. I've taught here for many years, teaching Tanakh and Parsha in the full-time program. This week's Parsha, Parashat Naso, happens to be my bar mitzvah Parsha, so I have a special affinity for it. But I want to talk about one long law in the Parsha for which I don't have any affinity at all. And that's the law of Sota, the law of the suspected wayward wife. The law dictates that if a husband, for any reason whatsoever, for good grounds or for not good grounds, is suspicious of his wife's fidelity, suspicious of her loyalty, he can bring her to the Beit HaMikdash, bring her to the Kohen, and there's a ritual that the Kohen performs, giving her water in which a parchment on which the name of God was written has been dissolved, and she drinks that water, and if she is guilty, the water has terrible physical effects on her, causing her apparently to die. If she's not guilty, the water, it seems, will increase her fertility, and she'll go back home, live with her husband, and apparently get pregnant and have a baby. The husband, the Torah says, in any case is free of guilt. In other words, one might say, this is a no-risk endeavor for him. Anytime he's in the least bit suspicious, he can just bring his wife to the Beit HaMikdash, have her tested as a sotah, and the worst case is that she'll be found innocent, and they'll go home and have a baby. And so for that reason, for legitimate reason, this law has been the target of a lot of criticism in modern times, dwelling as it does on the real inequity between the genders in this law. I'd like to, though, focus on one part of the law which is usually underappreciated. It's a point made by Hanan Brichto a number of years ago in an article, and he pointed out that there are trials by ordeal in many cultures, especially in the ancient Near East. A trial by ordeal meaning someone is suspected of being something or doing something for which we would never have any evidence, and the trial consists of putting them into some situation where the chances are very slim that they'll survive, throwing them into a river, making them walk through fire. And the deal is that if they survive, that proves that they're guilty. If they die, though, that proves their innocence. And Brichto said, there are some similarities between the sotah and a trial by ordeal, but let's dwell on the vast differences here. In the sotah, the expected occurrence, in other words, the natural occurrence, is that the water will have no effect. After all, at the end of the day, she's drinking water in which parchment has been dissolved. Unless a miracle occurs, nothing will happen to her. She will be absolutely fine. Or, to put it differently, the deck is very much stacked against the husband in this case. The deck is very much stacked for the wife. Unless a real overt miracle occurs, the sotah ritual will prove that the wife was innocent. Brichto says that there's a deep point here. And he says that this is true about a number of biblical laws, and I think it indeed can be extended. But let's just focus on this one right now. He says the point is actual message warning to the husband. He says, look, there's a ritual that's open to you if you so desire. If you're really convinced, if you're really worried about your wife's fidelity or your wife's loyalty, there is an option. You can bring her to the Beit HaMikdash, you can make her go through the sotah ritual. But realize that the chances are very, very great that she's going to walk out unscathed, and you're going to walk out embarrassed. Nothing legally wrong with what you're doing, but it will be an eternally shaming moment for you. So, Brichto says, what's the real point of the law? The point is a lesson to the husband. Maybe when you're suspicious, maybe when you have your suspicions, don't rush to involve a third party, because the third party will almost certainly rule on behalf of your wife, and then you will look like a fool, like a cowardly fool, worried about your wife all the time. Instead, maybe try to work it out. Maybe try to work through these issues. Try to talk them through with your wife, rather than rushing to God to ask Him for help. Shabbat Shalom.